Welcome aboard. It's going to be good. Okay. Great show for you this evening. Tonight we're going to be talking about the mindset of provider men and the difference between men that want to be providers and the ones that don't. Here's the thing. Here's what you got to understand. This is important. This is an important takeaway. Men that make money or have money want to provide for their woman. If they don't want to provide for their woman, as a man, there's something wrong with you. And I'm going to tell you what those things are, specifically, okay? First, let's back this up. A man innately and inherently wants to provide for their family, okay? That's just a part of what men want to do in their life. They want to protect their loved ones and provide for them and manage their family, keep them safe, whatever. Now, what that translates to is that, what it should translate to, and this isn't always the case, but that's what we're talking about today, is that a lot of men that are unable to provide will then just get mad at the concept of that feeling that, well, why should I have to provide for anybody other than myself? Why do I have to provide for a woman at all? I want to date women, I want to sleep with women, but I shouldn't have to provide for them. If I want to get married, but I shouldn't have to provide for my wife. Like, oh my God, can you imagine that? A man thinking that he doesn't have to provide for his wife. Wow, what do you mean? The fuck? Anyways, we're gonna come right back to that, folks. Give me a second. But there's a concept, and it's a very egalitarian concept. There's a progressive. Some people can say it's a progressive concept or whatever, especially in some certain countries. You go to Sweden, things like that. Or Paris. You go to Paris. I was just in Paris. I'm about to do a new video, Day in the Life of a Multimillionaire in Paris. I'm going to do that video today or tomorrow. Post it tomorrow maybe. We'll see. When I was in Paris. But the answer is, you go to Paris, those men they won't even pay for the date, let alone. You get what I'm saying? It's just, there are places in this world and there are schools of thoughts in America, the country that I'm in, that where men go, well, I don't have to provide for my wife or a woman at all. She can provide for herself. She's an adult, isn't she? Okay? And I think what's happening is it's causing men to lose sight of what makes them masculine in the first place. And that's the willingness to want to protect and provide for your family. And what's happening is that it's not men that make money. They already will provide. They're happy to. It's like, that's my wife. Of course that necklace, I bought her. That jewelry on her hands, I got her that because that's a good representation of me as a provider for my family. And that sends the whole world a signal that makes you look good as a man. If your woman is walking around well adorned, your woman is walking around fresh, clean, good haircut, nails done, all that stuff out in the world, that's a representation of you as a man, okay? And your ability to provide that for her, okay? That makes you look good. And for men to be like, oh, well, that's just not my responsibility. It just doesn't have anything to do with me how she carries herself. Ha! You're mistaken, sir. That's it. So, well-to-do men already, they want to provide for you. And the ones that don't want to provide, 50-50. Ones that go, well, she has a job, she can take care of her own responsibilities. Men have that innate feeling. The problem with them is it's one of two things. It's either they don't themselves make enough money, and then they're just frustrated. But they're not frustrated at the woman for expecting or even demanding these things. Or having sort of these standards for her life. They're not necessarily mad at the woman for this. They're mad at the woman for expecting this because they can't accomplish it themselves. So are they really frustrated at women, or are they frustrated at themselves? What is it really? So the answer is, these guys, they're not mad at women for expecting or looking for a man to provide for them. They're just mad that they don't have it figured out yet. And they're not making enough money where that's realistic for them. That's really the answer, okay? So it's either that, they're just not there financially yet. And to which I would say, my advice would be, simply don't date. Don't date yet. Get yourself into a financial position. When you're financially able to handle it, then look for a wife. But before then, Have fun. You know, you got to take a break sometime from grinding or whatever. You guys want to have, have short-term relationships, one-night stands, whatever. That's fine. That's cool. But if you start seriously trying to date, don't do it when you're broke. You're not in a position to, sir. Okay? So if they don't want to provide for you, they themselves are broke. And they're only upset because they haven't made it yet. So they're really upset with themselves. Or the other option is they're just resentful of women in general. And you see that shit everywhere. Their mama didn't hug them enough or something. Okay? And they just fucking hate women anyways. And then that will come out in ways that's like, well, I shouldn't have to do that. Well, that's not you're getting your nails done for some other man. That insecurity comes from fucking hate. You just fucking hate women. You know what I'm saying? Like actually. So, and they don't even know that that's what it is. They won't even admit it that that's what it is. Not even to themselves. They'll look at it as a fairness thing. But really, they're just resentful that they have to work so hard and earn their money. And the women that come into their life, it doesn't seem like they had to work so hard. So they're just resentful of them. And so they're just mad. That's it. So it's one of the two things. They aren't there yet financially, so they're frustrated at themselves that they can't make it and they take it out on you. Or they have a deep-seated hatred for women, and it's usually more the former than the latter, but both absolutely do exist. Do you guys understand? And then the thing is if you're mad at women because of what they do or do not bring to the table, financially speaking, and all this other stuff, why don't you date a man? If that's what you're looking for, like what are you going to contribute financially to the table? What are you going to do for me? This and that. Like what utility are you going to provide in terms of my life? Date a man. Hire escorts and date men. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they want to date women. They could just as easily hire escorts if they could afford it. But most of them can't even afford escorts. So they'll trick some poor, unfortunate soul into, intertwining their life with theirs. And then just be mad at the woman because they haven't figured out their own financial situation yet. What? What do you mean? So, simply put, if you're gonna be mad at women, don't date women. That's it. Date a man. If you can't provide, make your own money enough such that you can. Because I'm telling you right now, ladies, this is just good advice across the board. Successful men that bear responsibility for themselves and make something of themselves in their life, want to provide for their family, which includes, by the way, their woman that they're proud of. And they'll let you know too, by the way. If you're dating a man, you're seeing a man, that man will straight up introduce you as his girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever. If you're not getting introduced to like that, then you ain't it, sis. Sorry. But if he is introducing you like that to others, I promise you, if that man has means, he wants to. He wants to provide. Okay? Anything short of that, they're not just there financially yet, and they shouldn't be dating in the first place. And you shouldn't be dating them either. You should just wait at the finish line and date the winners. I don't care what anybody says. I haven't had a single good argument heard ever where women shouldn't be gold diggers. You should. Go for the guys that have made a success of themselves. What the fuck? Anything short of that is just too risky. And oftentimes will leave you with nothing but heartache. You guys get what I'm saying? You're going to get heartache either way. Pick your poison, my God. But at least it doesn't have to be like, how are we going to keep these lights on every month? Eating ramen sometimes. You want that? Eating ramen should be a gourmet choice, not a fucking requirement. Not a necessity to live. You get what I'm saying? It should be a choice, not one that's thrusted upon you. My God. No way. Anyways, my point is, guys, men that make money, they want to provide straight up. Straight up. And if there's any man that gives you any flack about that, I shouldn't have to. I don't think I should. I don't think it's my responsibility. Anything like that. He's either lying about how much he's making because he doesn't have enough money. That's it. Or he harbors some secret resentment towards women and you. And either one of those answers is you need to run for the hills, because I promise you, it's not going to end well. It's just not. You're looking for high quality characteristics. And by the way, that's the thing that made that man successful in the first place, is high quality characteristics. The characteristics it takes to be a success is what you're attracted to. Because even if that man lost everything today, because he has integrity, doesn't fucking lie about everything, he stands on business, he works hard, those are the things that will get him back on his feet in short order no matter what happens. But if you date a guy that's broke, they just lie. Broke guys will lie to you. They'll lie to themselves. What? They lie to their parents. They'll lie to you nonstop. Because they genuinely believe their own bullshit. Because they've been lying to themselves for their whole fucking life. So that's the thing. It's the characteristics that make the guy a success, that makes him attractive. It is the money too. Pampers ain't cheap. What? Soccer practice isn't cheap. These lessons are expensive. New cleats are expensive. Fucking school shoes are expensive. My God. So it is the money, but it's also the steps that took you to get to the money. Because the money is like this. Let me tell you about life. Money is like this, okay? But if you have the characteristics of a man who's successful, the money will keep coming to you throughout your life. I promise. Why some provider men become cheaters if they had good women? Okay, that's a good point. That's a good question. So the thing is, there's a couple answers to this. Some guys, especially the ones that make a success of themselves in their life, let me tell you about what propels men. So if they spent their whole life poor, they grew up poor, they didn't really have a lot going on in their young life, you know, they didn't really get all the girls they wanted or whatever. That sort of like feeling or sense of inadequacy that they've been carrying around with them since they were a child, okay, is also still deep inside of them. And maybe not as deep as you think, in their adult life too. And that feeling of inadequacy, that thing that gives them the motivation, that frustration and anger that gives them the motivation to push them into the upper echelons by working hard and making something of themselves because they got so much to fucking prove, of course. Propels them into success sometimes, okay? And then those same men that didn't get the girl they wanted in high school or whatever, Aaron Stewart was mine, will keep them, will make them go, well, now that I'm adult, now that I have money, now that I can do all these things or whatever, and I have these girls literally throwing it at me because I'm a person of status, whatever, made money or whatever. They didn't just exercise the options because they never got that when they were younger, you see? And that's what a lot of rich men do. So they'll still love you. That man might even take a bullet for you, for real. He actually still does love you, but he might sleep with some girl on the side or whatever. The difference between me is I'm a single man. I'm not married. So like for me, I just do... I live like a bachelor because I literally am. But if you're married or whatever, they might cheat on you because he never had the options before, you see? And he doesn't want to die before he's ever exercised those options. That's what they all think. That's what they all think. So that's a bit of a double-edged sword. And so a lot of women that are married to super rich men kind of either understand that or reluctantly accept it. You can just divorce them, sure, but then you got to go through that process, which might not be the worst thing necessarily. But you would be absolutely shocked as to how many wives stick around knowing their husband's got a pie on the side. I don't know. It's the truth. Broke men cheat too. Now, broke men cheat. Now, if a broke man who hasn't made something of himself in his life, hasn't done anything worth anything, is cheating on you, and you stay with that man, you have low self-esteem. That's just like, you got some deep-seated issues as a woman that's like, you're going to just let a man that is not worth anything in this world to cheat on you, and you're going to let him do that in your house, in your bed, likely you're paying for. That's something you unpack with your therapist when you're 40. You know, my God, that's a choice. And some of y'all letting people convince you of that shit. They like, some broke dude will cheat on you and they'll still convince you that was your fault. He'll convince you that it was just a oops, I slipped and fell and landed. And some of y'all falling for that. And if he's broke, he's got no leg to stand on, in my opinion. And that's just low self-esteem. That's gaslighting for sure. Oh man, that's low self-esteem for real. And I'm sorry to tell you, but y'all should pack it up or pack his stuff up, put it outside, because it's likely if you got a broke guy cheating on you, he's living in your place for sure. He's splitting those bills or worse. You're paying for everything. Do most men want more than one wife? Do you think most men could even handle having a wife? Most men can't even handle one wife. What are they going to do with 2 or 3? I think in some imagination fantasy land, they think that if they had 2 or 3 wives, it's just going to be some sex-fueled porno nonstop every day. That's what they imagine in their little imaginations. But the reality of having just one wife is so far from that. What makes you think that when you multiply that shit by 2 or 3, you're just going to handle it like the man? Ha! Yeah, right. They think they want that, and then they would try to, if they even had the constitution and the ability to get it, which most men don't, they go, oh wait, it's not exactly the thing I thought it was. It's actually a whole lot more responsibility and a whole lot more work. There's no way they could ever handle that. They can barely handle the emotions of one woman, let alone through 2 or 3. What? You don't have the facilities. Let's see. Would a high-value man be willing to wait until marriage? If he's religious and younger, maybe. But mostly no. Absolutely not. You're talking about a high-value man that's not motivated by religion. Now, if he's a religious dude, that's the only way in a modern world I'm seeing him going to wait till marriage necessarily. But let me just talk about that for a second. Listen here, folks. If you all got a marriage, if you got to like sort of wait till marriage arrangement because it's your God and your religion or whatever, that's fair. There's nothing I can say to convince you otherwise. But for the rest of y'all that are waiting to marriage for your own personal reasons or whatever, let me tell you something. What happens if y'all wait till marriage and then he turns out he's got a micro, you know what? What if despite how hard he tries, you're never going to get there? And you're drier than the Sahara. You never know until you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you're going to make a lifetime commitment before you know. Your whole marriage, if that's the case, your whole marriage after the fact is just going to be like this. Here's my impression of your marriage after that. What? I don't know. Oh. Whatever. What do you want to eat? I don't, whatever. That's the impression of your whole marriage. That's what happens when you wait. Because you didn't try before you buy. What do you think it's going to be like? Heaven? Let me tell you, from experience, most people that you have Bible study with. Y'all know what I mean by most people that you have Bible study with, you're not going to click with. You're just not. No matter what. No matter what. It's genetics, it's chemistry, it's fucking primal, and you have no control over it. And no matter what you do or how many books you read, your parts just don't fucking line up. I promise you that it just doesn't click for some folks, no matter what. Even if they got good personalities, even if they're tall, even if anything, doesn't matter. All right? So if y'all wait till marriage to try and don't try before you buy, and you sign that contract and profess your vows under God or whatever, and then on your wedding night onward, just gonna be like this. That's the rest of your life. You want that? You want that for yourself? Something to think about, folks. That's right. Take it for a test drive, folks. You never know. You don't know what you're signing up for. He could have a micro. You could have too much labia. I don't know. Who knows? I gotta check under the hood or something. Find out. First, God. Trust in Russ. Learn from this. Learn from this. Try for your buy. Oh. Some of y'all are gonna find out the hard way. Don't come crying to me like I didn't warn you. Amen. That's right. Okay, listen to this man. Wait, hang on. Oh yeah, that's right. Pentecostal, that's right. Okay. I'm wondering how old I should date if I'm 41. Marie's asking. Listen, Marie. 41, you can date all ages. Don't even worry about it at this point. You can date a man in his 40s. You can date a man in his 70s. You know what the best part about dating a man in his 70s, Marie? I mean, if this isn't so obvious to you, is that it takes a lot less work. You're talking once a month or less. You get what I'm saying? A guy in the 70s, got one foot in the grave. That's like y'all can enjoy all the fruits of his labors, and it's not that much work. You know what I mean? Your arm's not going to get too tired, or your jaw doesn't hurt, or whatever. I don't know. Keep it PG, folks. 70 is like easy work. 40s, you know, you're going to be getting a workout in. And that might not be for every sleepy girl. You get what I'm saying? So, weigh it out. You got options, ma'am. You got options. You can there's a whole spectrum of what I call effort. You get what I mean? The younger you go, the more effort it is. The older you go, the less effort it is. Your activities will be more or less the same, except for the effort after a certain time of night. You get what I mean? Hope that helps. It's about effort. Oh, man. Okay, let's see here. What about 23? 23, same thing. Same thing. If you're a 23-year-old, though, it's not likely you would even be willing to date a 70-year-old man, whatever. But definitely a date older. You guys ever met a 25-year-old man? How useless is a 25-year-old man? God, you don't know anything. And they're so cocksure, but they don't fucking know anything. And I don't think a man is really a man until his late 30s, maybe 40s. Anything short of that. They're in their 20s, they're all over the place. They got their hands in a lot of pots. They don't really know what they're getting into. They're trying everything. They're embellishing a lot. they're selling you a dream because they're mostly just trying to convince themselves of that. 30s, they're starting to get the grip on things. They're starting to move things along. They're starting to get the handle on the world and starting to show for it. But because it's new to them, it's very exciting. So they're cheating all over the place. They're sleeping around all over the place. Young guys are sleeping around all over the place, but they're broken doing it. The guys in the 30s are starting to get a grip, are sleeping around all over the place. But they're not really, they're excited about the new things in their life that are making the money. And then in about 40s, they start to care more about bearing responsibility for themselves and others. Not saying they won't still cheat on you, because they can and might, but they're more starting to think about their own life and where it's going. And they've had a lot of experience at this point. And it's getting to where they're more geared towards thinking about having a family in their 40s. That's realistic. So if you're a woman in your 23, you're going to be in for a fucking whirlwind of men in their 20s, men in their 30s. You got to know they're probably hopping around a lot. And then around late 30s, early 40s is when they start going. The men start going, I kind of want a family, and they will definitely date a 25-year-old and knock her up. So if you want a serious relationship, date older. Listen, a lot of guys will say, a lot of men with podcasts or channels will say, whoa, once you're a 30-year-old woman, you're fried. It's all over now, whatever. Now, there is a lot of science and technology around, pregnancy and birth control, whatever. So if you're having kids, there is a direct correlation for getting older and having kids and what the implications of that. All right. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking about dating. So if you're a woman that doesn't find their husband or whatever in your 20s, that doesn't mean you can't find one in your 30s. If you haven't found one in your 30s, you can definitely find one in your 40s. If you haven't found one in your 40s, you can find one in your 50s. And if you haven't found a man in your 50s, you can find one in your 60s. My grandmother just remarried after her late husband passed. My grandfather died. And then after some years of grieving, and she met a man in her 60s at her church, and they are wildly in love. And they got married, and they're both in their 60s. And every time I just saw her recently at Christmas, and she just is so happy, just all smiles. Like, my mama is on her third husband, okay, which she's been with for over 15 years now. It's been a long time. It's the one. This man loves her like you wouldn't believe, and I'm so grateful that he loves her so much, because I don't have to worry about her. You know what I'm saying? So this guy is so fucking in love with my mother, and she loves him back, and it's the cutest, most adorable thing. And she didn't meet that guy till her late 40s. You guys understand what I'm saying? As long as you take care of yourself, straight up, you get out there, you beat your face, you tweeze those eyebrows, and you put some dry shampoo in it or something, a man will provide an offer for you. Okay? So don't worry. I mean, you should take it seriously, but don't be stressed and panicked that you haven't made it yet, because trust me, there's a man for you. Just take care of yourself, put yourself out there, and the sky's the limits. All right? It's hard to date now. Yeah, listen. It's always been hard to date. You want to know why? Because everybody fucking sucks. And it's always been that way. Haven't you guys seen Seinfeld? Let me turn some lights on here. Haven't you guys seen Seinfeld? That's like what the whole show's about. Just like dating. And that's what I was saying earlier about compatibility, about the puzzle pieces not quite fitting. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's most people you're not going to click with, sexually and otherwise. And because of that, because of those things, you're just not going to mesh with most. Not some, not half, most of them. Almost all of them. Okay? So, you're going to go out and they're going to fucking have a crazy mole, or that's going to turn you off, or Mr. Bushy eyebrows, and Mr. fucking stands on his money too tall, Mr. Overcompensation. You're going to come across that literally all the time. Okay? Mr. Too much chest hair. You guys see that? Where their chest hair comes out the top of their shirts, like their mama didn't teach them basic grooming, because the chest hair grew out later in their life and nobody told them ever because they're grown. You see what I'm saying? And it just comes right out the top of their shirts, like fucking Teen Wolf Spirit, like Wolverine himself. Nobody told them. All right, y'all got to go on a date with that. Okay? Some of y'all freaks like that shit, but most women don't. Okay? I'm looking at you. My point is that there's going to be so much incompatibility. And you want it that way. What's wrong with you if you're just compatible with everyone? What do you do? Do you even have your own personality? Do you want to be compatible with everyone? Are you just shape-shifting for every new man you meet? You're supposed to be incompatible with most. Don't you get it? It's called finding a man, not men. You get it? All right? You're not going to click with most guys. Even the rich ones, even the handsome ones, even the young ones, whatever. Most of them, it's not going to be a match. Y'all shouldn't take that as a bad thing, though. Y'all, for most of the time, let me tell you something else. Most of the time, you're dodging a bullet. You should thank your lucky fucking stars he didn't call you back. You don't even know. Because you always hear some shit later. Oh, such and such dated that guy, and then he did some crazy abusive shit. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, and it's like, you know how many other people dated that man that dodged a bullet? Do you guys get what I'm saying? You never know. So like incompatibility is serving you more than it's hurting you. All right? Trust. I always make fun of the grooming thing because that just seems like such a low-hanging fruit. My God. You know there's grown men's out here. Grown mans out here that have never shaved behind themselves, like around their butt or anything, since they were born. Nobody ever has. Nobody told them. They just go like a bush in line like this. Grown ass man didn't even know it. Let the water get it or whatever. That just seems like such a low hanging fruit. Why don't you just fucking clean it up? You're 30, sir. What? And it just seems like, and I always think, man, you just got to blame the parents. You got to blame somebody, right? Who taught them this? Who didn't teach them this? That's criminal. Somebody should go to jail for that shit. And women are just as bad too. Same thing. Literally. Same thing. Shave all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And somebody didn't teach you, they should go to jail. It should be a punishment or something. A fine at least. What do you mean? Shave past the knee, above the knee, you know? You're from the South. Yes. That's right. That's right, folks. Nobody told him ever. And it just seems like a real shame. It just seems like a real shame. And that just seems like such an easy one. Y'all showing up to the dates unkempt. It's like, what? Anyways. She leaves you with PTSD. Yeah, it is traumatic. That's right. Let's see. I wax male and females. Okay. Some have a tunnel. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Grown ass people, we gotta have. And look, if you're going for a wax, okay, step in the right direction. You know what? You're a man, you're 35. Somebody told you, or you're feeling self-conscious or whatever because you're just walking and you're just like, it's like a bush, but you're walking through a bush all the time, perpetually. So you get the inclination to go get waxed somewhere. Maybe you ought to. Okay, I get that. But at least you're taking a step in the right direction. Accommodations, all right? Good job. I'm happy for you. But some people never do. They just never do. You guys see, like I don't have a lot of chest hair or whatever. I don't really get chest hair, but some guys have chest. There's a line where your chest ends and your neck begins. And that shit doesn't grow here. It just grows here. But they've never trimmed it ever. So it just grows out like a vine of a wall, just like up out of their shit like that. And nobody ever tells them so. What? I feel like it should be a public service. Tell them on the first date. You know what? You should shave your chest hair. This is crazy, Bigfoot. What is happening? And then we're just gonna do this again over. Go back home, trim this up, and then we'll do it again. Basic grooming. Watch a YouTube video. My God. And we'll just skip the whole first try. Pack it up, Sasquatch. Yeah, just, basic grooming. Anyways, my point is with the basic grooming things, I'm not mad necessarily about it, but for me what it says is like if you don't pay attention to those things, how are you going to pay attention much to anything? You're certainly not going to pay attention to me. You can't even see those hairs between your eyebrows. You telling me you're going to pay attention to me? You don't even pay attention to your own face. You got a miss mustache. So when I see girls and guys that don't pay attention to that stuff, I think that the relationship's going to be bad. And I'm probably right. So anyways, then you can just you go incompatible, probably dodged a bullet, and then you find the ones that have, I don't know, let's start with basic grooming. And then of those, maybe there's some compatible one or two in there. You don't get many tries really. Yeah, many dates, but real compatibility, 4 or 5 in your lifetime. Something to consider. Let's see. Okay, hang on. I know Instagram's asking me questions. Hang on. Okay. You're giving Dallas. I'm in LA, guys. I'm in LA, folks. I'm from South Carolina, but I live in LA and have been I've been here for a long time. Let's see. I'm the one telling boyfriend not to shave their chest hair. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, I know some of y'all freaks like go, cruising through the jungle or whatever. But for the rest of us, proper grooming. All right, keep it in the lines, in the boxes. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. What does a woman do when the man needs to let that hairline go? Tell him. Encourage him even. Say, you know what? I think you look good bald. Just let it go. You're fighting for your life back here. You're 2 inches too far back. Don't get me wrong. There's like crazy good. There's crazy good technology now, like for hairlines. It's just crazy how some of these famous people have restored their hairlines. Like I don't know. Fuck, was the guy from One Direction, Harry? He restored his hairline pretty good. Justin Bieber had crazy bad hairline. He restored that pretty good. You'd be surprised. Like some people just don't look good with bangs, So getting restoration surgery or whatever is fine, but some of y'all are too far gone. There's no way. I'm not above that shit. You don't think I would do that? If my hairline started to go, I've kind of had this whole hairline forever. But if it started to go, mark my words, I would do some shit about it. That's just me though, because I care about those things. But if a guy's like I'm not about it, or it's gay to care about that stuff, or whatever they say, they always say that stuff. And you can just be like, yo, stop fighting for your life, man. You can spend all that energy if you're fighting for some money if you just let it go. So just encourage your man. If he's bald, and say, look, I think you look good without it. Let me see. That might work. Might work for you. Okay, let's see here. How long should you give it if you know you're incompatible with? Okay, who's asking me that? Wisteria. I'm gonna give you a pass on your name or whatever, but your handle name. But listen, if you're here on my live asking me how long you should wait to get rid of the guy that you're seeing whom you're incompatible with, then you already know the answer, ma'am. I don't even need to tell you. It's obvious. What do you mean? If you're already incompatible, you know you're incompatible. You already know the answer. Hey, how's it going with that guy? Let me ask you, Wisteria, how's it going with that guy? Oh, you're incompatible? Oh, well, that's a shame. Glad you're not seeing him anymore. What? Do you just want to keep dating? Because look, here's the thing. If you're still forcing it with a man that you're incompatible with, what your self-esteem is like so low. Yeah. Get yourself a pencil skirt and some 4-inch heels on a peep toe pump and get you some, go to the Russians and get your fucking nails done, those talons done. All right? Beat your face and you get yourself out there, sis. Okay? Because you already know the answer. When should you let the man go whom you're incompatible with? Yesterday. The fuck? You already know the answer. I hope that helps. I hope you listen. I love you. I didn't mean to spank you that hard, but I love you anyways. All right? That's good advice. You better listen to me. All right. Do wealthy men like Latinas? Ma'am, everybody likes Latinas. What do you mean? Y'all a little fussy a bit, but I like that shit. That's how you get pregnant. Me. Fussy a little bit. We're going to fight a little bit, but that translates in the boudoir, you know? It's a direct correlation. Oh, man. Do high-value men like curvy Latino? I just answered that one. Oh, man. Okay. What do you mean by fussy? If you have to ask, you don't need to know. All right. Let's see here. Got him. What do you do when a guy that you like isn't generous? That's a great question. Here, let me tell you something, folks. It doesn't matter how rich the man is. It doesn't matter. He could be a billionaire, Johnson & Johnson family fucking billionaire. If he is stingy, he will never not be stingy. And it gets worse. You will never be able to squeeze 1 red cent from that dude forever. And it gets worse. And he'll be stingy with you. He'll be stingy with himself first, which will extend, because that's deep in his blood and in his family. And it comes from some deep-seated shit from his parents too, some scarcity mindset shit. It doesn't matter where it comes from. He won't spare 1 red cent. This guy will be a billionaire staying on vacations at the Motel 6, swear to God. And you won't get 1 red cent out of him. And once you're past the courtship phase, whoo, it's over, honey. That's it. No designer, anything ever. You'll be wearing a smock and some sort of 1-piece linen pillow, whatever, every day of the week. I'm exaggerating a bit, but not fucking really. And it's your whole life will be about saving and penny pinching and 3-in-1 shampoos and body wash combinations. And you'll never get any, you will have a bar of soap in your bathroom. It won't even be the pump kind disc. That's wasteful. It'll be 1 live bar of soap, okay? And that's it. And y'all be the chips, using the chips to wash like that. That's what your life is going to be like. And it'll be like that for you. And it'll be like that for your kids. And then your kids will fucking also inherit that same shit. And then they're going to go off to live as if they're in poverty with some poor unfortunate souls that they meet. And then their families will continue that streak onward forever. It never ends. It's just going to be a whole generation of stingy. And unless you like that shit, budgeting for everything, and 3-in-1 body wash, then you yourself, ma'am, should run for the hills, because that's what your life's going to be like. We don't need to do that, honey. That's too expensive. We don't have to stay at this place. We don't have to go to a 5-star restaurant. We should just go to the 2-star restaurant. It's a $1 money sign on Yelp. Let's just go there. It's buy one, get one on Tuesdays. That's what your life's like forever. Is that what you want? Because that's what you're going to get. That's what stingy gets you. Okay? If you date a man, he's stingy. He goes like this in the bill. You look at him at dinner, he goes like this on the bill. That's what you're in for. You want that? And he will convince you too. You'll be the same way. You'll have like no spending months. Y'all be budgeting bars of soap. And you won't be buying paper towels. You'll have to get regular washcloths that you'll have to do this and wash out and have to reuse again and again. Because that's just wasteful. Is that how you want to live your life? I don't, personally. Just seems like excessive to be that frivolous. And it's worse when you have money. My God. The answer is, if he's not generous, or worse, if he's just stingy from the beginning, it gets worse. Ma'am, once he's courted you enough, I promise you, that's when the stingy comes and it gets worse. It doesn't get better. It's not like he becomes more generous over time. It gets worse. You get less. The man is the most generous on your first date. And then it's from there, if he's a stingy guy, it's progressively tighter and tighter and tighter. He's the most generous on day one, and then will progressively become more and more stingy. Is that what you want? Because the next thing you know, he's not affording anything. And we got to be saving everywhere. And we got to just be reusing stuff. You're marrying bottles of ketchup and shit. It's like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with those things necessarily. But I don't want to live like that. God, do you? It's just some post-World War II shit it's just, don't get me wrong. There was a depression and there was a time for this, but not today. And people that's deep inside of them. And if you need to cut that bloodline short. I'm not saying do anything villainous. I'm not saying kill anybody. Just say it. You don't need to procreate that. You don't need to be responsible for a stingy offspring. Do you want to be? Is that what your legacy is? You're going to pass this curse on to the next poor woman that hasn't been born yet? Is that what you want? You did it to yourself. Now you're mad and you got to get some other person's daughter? What do you mean? Is that what you want? Stop it. End it now. You have the power. All right? You have the power to stop it here. You can shift the timeline for everyone. You don't have to pass this on. Okay. It ends with us. That's right. Stop it here. Take a stand. Say no to stingy. Trust me on that one. A boyfriend just canceled a trip to meeting with his best friends. Then I don't know what's going on with you, Tori, or whatever, but sounds like he doesn't like you very much. Sorry to tell you that. Just canceled his vacation with you to go meet his boys somewhere else. Have you seen that movie? It's just not that into you. It's like that. Sorry to tell you, Tori, but you'll be fine. I'm going to go meet my boys. Don't worry. I know you took off work and you got your bags packed and you're all excited and everything, but you'll be fine. What? What do you mean? Oh, God, it's just like that movie. He's just not that into you, Tori. Sorry. You should go without him. Yeah, who said that? Yeah, Alec, go without him. Do your own trip. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go to Italy, where the men are just very well dressed and very forward pushy even. And we'll just see what happens on my girls' trip. Girl trip of one to Italy, to one of the most sexually aggressive men in the world will walk up to me, Miss American Girl. I think that's a good idea, actually. You should do that, Tori. Let's go to Venice or Rome. You already got your bags packed? That's right. If he's canceling to go on his little boys trip, you go on your little girls trip. He'll be calling you crying in no time. Promise you that. I bet there's some people here in the chat that will go with you, Tori. You don't have to be a victim. Take ownership of your life. Grab life by the horns. Just get out to Italy. Some other place too. Some place that's like, South America. Place where there's just, just very forward men. That's what you need. That's where Tori's gonna go on her vacation of one. Perfect. Oh, okay, no problem, honey. You go on your boys' trip. I'm already packed, so I'm just gonna. You went on your trip, I just went on mine. He's gonna call you, see your stories on Instagram. Oh, well, you went on your vacation, so I figured I already took the time off, so I went ahead and took a vacation where I wanted to go. I don't know. He's gonna be like, what man's watch is in your story? The fuck? Oh, it's just a friend I met in Italy. I don't know. He'll think twice next time. So listen, if your ex is calling you back and he wants to get back together with you after breaking up with you or whatever, you know what that means? It means that he went here. There's nothing more confident than a man that has a girlfriend. So he's out there thinking, while y'all are dating, he's thinking to himself, well, I just got it so easy. I'm the man. I can get girls. Girls love me. Because he got you back home. He's got you back there. Hyping him up. You see what I'm saying? You're hyping the man up. So he's out there. He's got such confidence because he is so non-needy because he's got you back home. Right? So then when he doesn't have you back home and then he goes out into the wild and realizes, oh shit, getting a girl is a lot harder. I'm not the man like I thought I was, and I'm getting worse action than I was getting when I had a girlfriend at home. And it's been a couple of months now, and I'm just swinging and missing now. And because of it, my confidence is tanking, which is causing me to swing and miss even more. And so then when the ex hits you back and is like, hey, maybe we should work it out. I've been thinking. He went out there and realized that he wasn't the big man he thought he was. And then he's calling you back up to rope you back into that nonsense. And let me tell you something, just some quick tidbit of advice, is if that happens to you, that man will break your heart again. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Because he is going to just rope you back in. It's going to be easy work for him to do. He's back in action, and the first chance he gets, he's going to drop you like a hot tamale, madam. And I promise you that you're going to regret it. Okay? Anyways, that's my show, folks. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. I post my real, actual life on Instagram, so if you're over here and you're nosy, and I know all of you are, follow me on Instagram. The fuck? I post my real, actual life over there. And when I go live and stuff. So, see you over on that side. Everybody on Instagram, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.